Hi everyone, and welcome back to another online Jiu-Jitsu workout class as we now enter week 23 of our practice at home during this COVID pandemic lockdown. So our governor here in New York just announced that gyms will be reopening on a schedule starting next week, and we have to figure out how we can actually open up the dojo again and start working there in person comfortably and so we haven't figured that out, and we will be continuing to do these online classes for some while yet until that is all worked out, and we'll probably start doing some sort of hybrid between partial classes in dojo with maybe only distance training or weapons similar to what we've been doing in the park, and also continue doing some online classes for a while. So that's what we know for now, and hopefully we will get back to regular practice in the coming months. That in mind, let's get ready for class. I'll say mokuso, which means we start, and then mokuso yame. Yame means stop. So when I say mokuso yame, we're done. Mokuso. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Mokuso yame. And then we just do an informal bow, and dojo will do a proper bow. Onegaishimasu. Onegaishimasu means please work with me. Okay, so standing in natural stance, that means feet even, hands on your hips or on your belt if you've got a belt, and we're going to turn our heads to the right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Antai means opposite direction. Antai, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Head back, down, back, down, back, down, back, down, back, down. Look right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Tilt right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Any way you need it. And now shoulders rolling forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Reverse. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Alternating. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Reverse. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Hands up, parallel, and we go elbows back. Ich, ni, san, forward. Ich, ni, san, forward. Ich, ni, san, forward. Now the opposite. Ich, ni, san, back. Ich, ni, san, back. Ich, ni, san, back. Now left hamni, which means your left foot is forward. Per the video, you should hopefully know how to do this. Bend your knees. Left hand on your belt. And your right hand is going to come forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Reverse. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Runtai. Runtai means opposite, so right hanmi, and right hand on your belt. Left hand forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Reverse. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Natural stance, both feet equal, and both hands coming in. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, and out. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Back to left hamni again. Put your left hand across your belly, right elbow in your hand, and your right hand comes in, palm facing your face. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Now out, palm facing out. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Shake it in towards your face, shake it out, side to side, and punch. And die. Right hamni, right hand across, left elbow sitting on your hand. In, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Out, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Shake it in, shake it out, side to side, punch. Natural stance, elbows against your chest, both hands in. ich, ni, san, shi, go, out, ich, ni, san, shi, go, shake it in, shake it out, side to side, double punch. Now, hula hoops. So, try to keep your head in the same place, twist your hips to the right, ich, ni, san, shi, go, reverse, ich, ni, san, shi, go, and stretch back, forward, hands to the mat if you can do that, back, hands overhead, forward to the mat, chest to your right knee, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, left, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Loosen up, ready for torso rotations to the right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Right thigh in the direction, ich, ni, san, shi, go. And hands on the mat, standing split. So basically, have your legs as wide as possible. Everybody's got a different distance split. And then come forward enough to put your elbows on the mat. So it's okay if you're leaning forward a lot. And just stretch. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Now rocking. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Now back on your heels. So I'm using my hands for balance. I don't really have any weight on them. I'm just trying to get a different stretch here. Pivot to your left, drop your right knee and your right instep flat. Stretch forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Right thigh. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Back to center. Elbows to the mat. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Rocking. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Back on your heels. And again, don't overdo this because your muscles won't be necessarily used to this, and I don't want you to hurt yourself or overstretch. Pivot to your left again. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Thigh. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And come up into Shikadach. So Shikadach, you'll see this in many forms, is your knees bent, your feet coming out at 45. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands on our knees and we bring our hips underneath us and straighten up our shoulders over our hips and breathe in to our nose and then come forward, breathe out to our mouth. In, out. You're pushing out on your knees, keeping your elbows locked to hands straight. In, out. Now drop your right shoulder, try and look over your shoulder at your fingers of your right hand. And die. And die. And die. And now we straighten out our right leg as though we're doing a side kick. So the blade of your foot is the kicking area and your heel should be projected past your toes. And if you can do this too, also try and get your front knee past your toes. Most people can't though. On die, same thing opposite side. And then opposite side, foot up. So this time my heel is on the ground and my toes are pointing up. I'm still pushing on my knees, pushing them out. Thigh. Thigh all the way down, which means that I'm dropping my butt as close to my heel as possible. If you're up here, that's fine. That's all you got. Try and get down. And also push your knees out while you're doing it with both hands. And thigh. Okay, from here we're going to drop our right knee into hurdler stretch. So if you can, have your instep flat on the ground. If you can't, this is what you got, that's what you got, that's fine. It's better if it's in like this. And also, splayed as much as you can. This is difficult if your knees are bad, so if you have that bad knee, maybe don't do it on that side. Or do a smaller version of it where you're not stressing your knee so much. Always be safe. So we're going to sit up straight, we turn to our left foot, hands together, so we're reaching evenly. And ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Sit up straight, twist right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Forward again. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And thigh. So switch your legs. And forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Forward again. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. And now, normally we do this, I'll do it with Senpai. Maybe don't do this because I don't overstress your knees on your first day. But then we'll bring our feet in front like this and basically do the same thing. Forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Thigh. Forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Forward. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist. Now, both feet in front. Hands together. Pick them up. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Now reach deeper. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Sit up straight, twist right, twist left, and feet apart. Again, depending on what kind of splits you can do, mine are pretty terrible. A lot of people can do a much better job at this than I can, so you know, you have the limits of what your body can do. So sit up straight, turn towards your right leg, both hands together, evenly reach. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Front thigh, left side, same thing. Try and keep your opposite butt cheek on the floor. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Sit up straight, now to center. And the object here, get your chest on the mat, but many of us cannot do that. Sensei Maria definitely can. But my object is to try and get my elbows on the mat, and then that's plenty. That's as much as I've managed in 30 years. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Again to the right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Left. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Back to center. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Okay, bring your feet in. And again, this is a stretch I cannot do. The idea is to put your knees on the floor, but make them rock. Push down on them, whatever you got. Grab your feet and put your chest on your feet while having your knees on the mat. Again, I can't do it. But this is what I got, so this is what I do. Ich, ni, san, shi, gu, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And forward again. Reach. Ich, ni, san, shi, gu, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Sit up straight, twist right, twist left, and yeah, mate. So now we're going to do jackknives. So jackknives are the ones that look like this. Right, so you might want to put down a mat underneath you. Don't do this part, but senpai, if you can do it, we normally do a back fall here first and get into position. So just get into position. Different people do jackknives differently. I broke my back many years ago, so I can't rock onto my bottom of my spine. So most people will do it like that, from a wide V to an arrow V. I do it from here to here, so I'm not on that part of my spine. Do whatever kind of jackknives you're comfortable with. And ready. And again, we're going to do 30 of them. You don't need to do 30 of them. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And now put your hands underneath your butt so that it's floating slightly off the ground. These are exercises for your core. So you want to have your feet as close to the floor as possible, so you're stretching and tightening those muscles. So we're going to do scissors. We go wide and cross and wide and cross. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Also, you want to make sure your head is off the mat, so you're strengthening your neck. And now leg raises. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Our knees to chest. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Flutter kick. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Bring them up straight and beat on your belly. Hands by your cheekbones, slowly down. And relax. And you can wobble around a bit, loosen up your neck and stuff. Okay, so bring your right knee into your chest. Again, you want to fold it as much as possible. Try and get your knee towards your chest and your ankle towards your butt. If you want, you can rotate your ankle in this position. Now, hook your foot behind your left knee. Try and put your right knee on the ground opposite while keeping your left elbow or right elbow on the opposite side. So again, you might not be able to do that, but the intention is to have your elbow on the mat on one side and your knee on the mat on the other. And your body twisted. Front thigh, left knee in. Hook it behind your knee, put it down, twist. Yame means stop. Bring both knees in, rocking. Stretch. Yeah, you might want to just watch this part. I'm going to bring my heels in, put my head on the mat, come up into a bridge. And I also like to then rock in this position to add extra strength to my neck. And the next part is we put our hands underneath our shoulders and push all the way up. And down. Okay, so the next part is going to be those push-ups that I showed you in the video. And again, those that can do face falls, do face falls first. Ready, hey. Now push-up position. When I say head up, you can't really tip your head up, it just means put your head up as much as possible. And when I say head down, it means tuck your chin against your chest. There's not going to be a lot of difference between those positions, but that's what I mean when I say it. So, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, and breathe obviously, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down. I'm going to do one more, don't worry about it if you're not keeping up. Head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, and now hold that start position. So you want to pin your elbows against your chest and tighten up the lats, the muscles that run down the side of your chest. And you're just going to hold it there as long as you can, kind of like a plank. Again, it's difficult. It's something you just have to do a lot of before you get any good at it at all. Now slowly down, flatten out your hands and feet and just relax and breathe. Now when I say go, you're going to get up quickly and just hold a defensive position. Don't worry about how to do it, just do whatever you do. Myself and Senpai will do the way I teach it. Ready, go. And then untie, switch position, untie, untie. And then turn around and just drop to your knee. Fix anything you need to fix. In the dojo, your gi might be all crumpled up and in knots from doing those exercises. Let me just quickly show you something. These push-ups are very difficult, and most people, one mistake they make is they have their elbows out from their body like this, and it becomes particularly difficult. Oh, by the way, I'm doing knuckle push-ups. It's perfectly fine to do them flat in your hands. I have some issues with my wrists, so my wrists don't bend enough, so I prefer to do it like that. Either way is fine. But the idea is to have it so that your elbows slide against your chest, right? That's where they're going to have the maximum stability. Just like a punch, right? When you're doing a punch, it wants to come out like that. So they're the muscles we're building up. And if you can't hold yourself in that position, it's okay to bring your elbows in deeper and actually put your chest on your elbows, right? And that can take your entire body weight. So watch if I do that. If I put my elbows underneath my body, I can actually hold my whole body up. So that's a way of cheating when you're starting to do these push-ups. You can kind of tuck them underneath, get the push-up part, and then come back down to where you're holding your weight of your body and not have to hold it here. And then slowly build up the muscles to actually do the push-ups all the way. Okay, up to standing position. And left hammy. And we're going to do those wrist locks that were in the video. Don't worry about getting them right, just sort of get a feel for the sequence. I'm going to come closer to camera so you can kind of see. So the first one's called kata gesh, and we're basically bouncing the lock up and down. You can always watch that video again to review what exactly it is we're doing and how to do it. Front die, other side, other foot forward. Die. This one's called EQ. EQ is number 1 lock, even though we're doing it second. Die. Die, knee Q. So thumb down, hand on top, rotate it towards your nose. Don't let your elbows come above your shoulders. As you can see, I like to just park them for a little minute to get the full stretch. Die. Again, thumb down, hand on top, rotate towards your nose. That's knee Q. Knee is number 2. And then san is for each knee san, right? So it's san Q is 3rd lock. And what we're doing is rotating as though our arm was just twisting around in this orientation here. Try not to lean too much to accommodate it. And die. I try to start with my hand in that, like a box. 90 degrees, and then just reach over and twist it in place. It'll also depend on your flexibility. Die. This is the awkward one I explained. It's called shihanagi, and left foot forward, left hand, right elbow comes underneath and around and turns it down. So again, as I said, you're pulling the hand out this way. You want to keep the blade of your hand straight, and your thumb should be pointing down. This, of course, is that thing where I said you can push it with your head if you can't do this, right? A lot of people, if they have big muscles in their shoulders, can't do this. And die. So a lot of boxers, karate guys with big shoulder muscles, they can't get past here. They're muscle bound. So I'm going to rotate it down here. You should feel your shoulders starting to separate, right? And then after that you should feel that your elbow is going to start to separate. Front die, left foot forward, and this is just finger wrist stretch. And I like to press down on individual fingers one at a time to get extra stretch. Front die. And shake it loose. Okay, so we're going to do our taisabaki footwork. So again, that's in the video. I'm hoping that you got an idea of what that looks like. This is where we go left foot forward, right foot comes from behind, we pivot, and then the left foot goes back to behind. And then back, pivot, and back. So one count is all the way out and all the way back. I'm not going to just bother instructing you on that. You can again review the video if you want to get detailed instructions. So ready, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, ach, ku, ju. And left foot forward, and this time our hands come up, so our hands are going to be one hand in front of our solar plexus, one hand in front of as high as our nose. And this time our feet don't cross each other, we just slide forward, bring the other foot with us, and pivot in place. And switch our hands. Slide forward, pivot, and switch hands. Okay, so we're going to do 10 of those, and then I'll have a quick look at you. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, ach, ku, ju. So the first thing that we're going to work on is called Ippon Seinagi, and it's a judo throw. And the way it works is that I have here a heavy bag that I've added arms onto. Right? So the way Ippon works is that if they come with a roundhouse punch or something, we can come on the inside and we can clip underneath here, and then we pivot and put our heels together, we drop below their body weight, and we throw them. So this is a very typical throw. You see people throwing them over their shoulders and onto the ground. My uke can't go to the ground because it's suspended from above, so I can only show the first element of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pair of boots on the ground here so you can see how the footwork works. Senpai, just start doing some fit-ins while I'm explaining this, and then we'll do a little higher version of it together. So I'm in left harmony, my left foot's forward, and Uke's right foot is forward because they've just stepped in and punched, like a big roundhouse or a haymaker like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step in with my right foot toe to toe, and then I'm going to just pivot so my heels come together. Right? So just do that with me a few times. Right foot steps in, toe to toe, and then we pivot so our heels come together. Again, left foot is forward, right foot's behind, then we step in. When I say step in, it means that the back foot comes forward and becomes the front. Otherwise I'll say hitch step. So regular step is all the way in. And then pivot and back out. Okay, so that's how we get into position. Once we get there, we want to be receiving that arm, right? So our left arm is going to come up like this, sort of as a block, and we're going to slide along it to trap it. So this hand is coming in, our hand is going to come up here, and we're going to slide along and grab it by the wrist. So we have it to be able to pull and drape across our body, right? The other hand is the one that comes underneath and clips. So between the two, they're going to rotate like that. So when we come in, when we step in toe to toe, both hands are going to come up like that, right? And as we pivot, the left hand is going to pull and the right hand is going to clip. So we're going to do that a couple of times. I'll be with you in a second, Diana, don't worry. So step in, hands up, pivot, pull and clip. Step in, both hands up, pivot, pull and clip. Step in, both hands up, pivot, pull and clip. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the opposite side before we get any further. You're going to step in with your left foot toe to toe, hands up, clip, pull and pivot. Again, step in toe to toe, hands up, clip, pull and pivot. And one more time like that. Step in toe to toe, clip, pull and pivot. Now none of that will work because all you're doing is standing in front of them, pulling their arm and turning around. Now you're standing in front of them with their arm around you and they can just choke you out. Not a good place to be. So we don't actually do it that way. When we come in, we're starting to get smaller. And as we pivot, we get a little bit smaller again. And as we clip, we drive them up and drop down. So I'm going to do it from the opposite angle so you can see that. I'm going to come in, heels to heel, and drop down. And then we can throw them because now our hips are below theirs. And they're starting to fall forward on top of us. Instead of being able to just grab us, they're actually falling. And we tip our elbow to the opposite, the clipped elbow. So if I take off the roof here, I've got them clipped like this. Oops, I just lost one of my earbuds. Can you hear me? Okay, so I've got them clipped like this, and I'm down low, and I just roll them off the shoulder like so. So, what I want you to do is step in toe to toe, hands up, pivot and clip as you bend your knees. And now bend your knees more so that your heels are still touching but they come off the ground. And try and put your elbow on your knee. What you want to feel is that you're going to fall. And it's okay to put your hand down and stop yourself from falling. Because uke, the weight of uke getting thrown, will stop you from falling. But with just a ghost uke, it should feel that you're falling forward. Oh, uke is the person attacking. So there's two people in these conflicts. There's tori, the person receiving, and there's uke, which is the person giving the attack. So uke is the attacker. The way I like to do this, and a lot of these techniques where we're doing that lifting and pulling, basically one hand is pulling them to get them onto their toes, and the other hand is driving them and loading them. So what I do is I go like this, and this is my hand that's going to be pulling, and it's in front of my face. I say, look at your wristwatch, right? So you're looking at your wristwatch. Then the clip comes in, and I just hold my hand. So now when let me do it this way. Now when I pivot, I can pull with one hand and drive at the same time. So one hand is pulling the other hand, and the other hand is driving like that. So I'm basically just holding hands and doing that. Don't lock your fingers, because we just don't want to get into a bad practice of getting our fingers caught up in each other. I'm just doing it like that. And that way you can really, and the way you can practice this if you had the space and had a soft thing is, and a lot of judo goes do it this way, they'll come in, they'll drive, they'll do it, and they'll take a face fall. Because they want to make sure they've got that commitment. If you had have seen what Senpai did earlier, she actually fell over because she did a fully committed throw. So that's okay. You can just put your hands on the mat like that. Senpai, I'm going to suggest at this point that you're going to do fit-ins for ippon, but rather than the regular fit-in for ippon, where we're just coming in and that, imagine that uke is coming with a straight punch, right? So when uke comes with a straight punch, I mean, yes, and I've done it, you can quickly slide in between them, but you might just get hit, right? So the smart way to get into ippon from a straight punch, you're coming in, is to do our taisabaki fit-in, or something similar. So we're going to come in like this, drop trap, bring them out, around, step back, and then come on the inside. Just the same as if we were doing the same thing for harai gauche. Just the same as if we were doing the same thing for tai tosh. You can bring that hand out, back, and then step in for ippon. You want to be at this angle to them, right? So we're not 90 degrees, and we're not even with them. We're closer to the 45, again about 30 degrees. You want to bring them around, and when they get to this position where you're turned, then you go back to this angle. That's the first thing. The second thing is drive them when you clip them. You're kind of just almost doing like an elbow where you're kind of going horizontally around, and we need to drive them and then take that elbow and make it go through an arc to go up and down to your opposite knee. The punch comes in, you do that, you make them come around, you step back, and you continue to bring them forward, and then you're going to step in and clip. You have to do that step in front just like as if you were going to do tai tosh. You have to get into the center of their circle. Again, uke, our attacker, comes in with a roundhouse just like before, and we're going to come up the center and in the middle. And there's all kinds of things we can do there. We can do elbow strikes and stuff like that. But what we're actually going to do is, if these are uke's feet, is, oops, it would be the opposite foot. So uke's right foot is forward because they've just stepped and thrown a big haymaker. I'm going to step in, again, toe to toe, like before. But this time, I'm going to bring my back foot with me and hook my foot behind their heel and sweep them. The way it works is that I come in, so I'm crossing across the center line, and actually we want to be deeper than toe to toe in this case. We bring our back foot with us so that our weight can be on like really tight, so our back foot can take all our weight. We can take the weight off our front foot, and we're going to put our arch of our foot behind their heel, and we're going to slide it like that. So I'm making a little circle on the ground with my little toe on the floor. My foot doesn't come off the ground. A lot of people do this, and they end up just lifting uke's foot and not sweeping them. This is a two-way action. Senpai, just go ahead and start doing some fit-ins, and I'll explain to JD the way this works. Their hand is out like this. We're coming in deeper. We really want our knee inside their knee, and our right hand is going to go on their shoulder, and our left hand is basically just blocking like this. So we're allowing their punch to come around, and we don't care that it hits because we're so deep inside, we're in the rotation point inside their shoulder there, that they can't hurt us. They're just hitting us with their with this part of their arm. So we're coming in like this, blocking our head, front foot and front hand goes onto their shoulder. And the reason we want to do that is we want to be in the center of the storm, right? We want to be where there's no real movement at all. No strength, or all the weight is on the end of the lever, right? That's what's moving fast. The inside is moving slowly and not very strong. So we're on the inside, and we're in here, and what happens is we can push their shoulder while sweeping their foot. So what happens to them is they come like this, their shoulder goes back, their foot goes forward, and they're down. So this is a little bit strange in that normally we say our shoulders and our hips move together. In this case, we're going to be pushing one direction and twisting. So instead of both twisting the same direction, our shoulders are going to twist this way and our hips are going to twist that way. Okay, so the way it works is we step across the center line, hands are up, one is protecting our head and it just stays there, We bring our back foot with us. We push on the shoulder, hook the foot, sweep and push with both our hands at the same time. From a different angle. We step in deep, a little bit deeper than toe to toe. We bring our back foot all the way with us. Push on their shoulder, hook the heel, sweep and push their shoulder the opposite direction. So just practice doing that. You step in, push the shoulder, bring the back foot with you, and sweep. And you can just stand there and try doing a few sweeps. The most common mistake, senpai, is exactly that, is that people come in and they have their hands out like that, and then they get pushed back onto their back foot, which is the one that you want to sweep with, or push back onto their back foot so that they can't get it in to support themselves to sweep it. So when I do this, even for short people, and Sensei Marie is always laughing at me when I do it, is I try and imagine putting my head on their shoulder with my hand gripping my head while I do it. Right? That's why I always block my hand by holding my head, because it reminds me, just like when we used to do kickboxing, I would know my fists are in the right place because I would literally put them on my cheeks, and if I can't feel them, I know they're in the wrong place. You should be able to balance yourself by having that foot be a counter to your arms, right? And you should have weight on that foot. You should be able to keep some weight, not much, but enough that you're still touching the ground. If you bring your foot off the ground, you're more likely to tip, right? So, as I was saying to JD, it might not be a bad idea once you get in there, right? You get in, you do your thing, you drop trap, you roll the shoulder, and then you sweep, and then bring your foot back, and sweep again, bring your foot back, sweep again, and just practice being able to get back into balance from that sweep position. Because you don't want to be throwing yourself. So we're going to start out with doing some jumping jacks. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ku, and ju. Okay, you me? Now stand feet slightly wider than natural stance, and twist right, left, right, left. Make sure your head is turning to look all the way behind you. Left, right, left, right, and left. Now into a wide stance like so, and we're going to do this twisting motion. It's preferable if your hand can land past your feet, but if this is where you reach or this is where you reach, at least try and touch your toes. I go past my feet. And the other thing is, look at the ceiling. Look at the ceiling. So ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, and ju, and yummy. Okay, come into shikadach, and drop your butt low, put your elbows on your knees, And just breathe into your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Raise your butt, straighten out your legs. Chest to your right knee. Ich knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Left. Ich knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And come up. Keep your legs straight. Come in a few inches until they're in a wide stance, but not the shikudachi. Twist right. Twist left, right, left, and bring them all the way in. Let's just do some knee rotations. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Opposite. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Shake it loose. Okay, so we're going to do some knee to chest. So this is basically like the Muay Thai clinch head kick. So you have this sort of heart shape. Grab them behind the neck, you pull them down, and then you open up your elbows and you kick between them and knock them out. We're not actually doing that, so just standard fighting position, so bigger than Hamni, shoulder width. Fists by your cheekbones, and we're going to go ich, knee, and keep going like that. So ready? Actually, you can start natural stance because we're going to go back and forth between each side. Ready? Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Shoulder side. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku. Notice I'm not bending my back, right? I'm just bringing my knees up. And ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Yeah, me. So, when we do this as an actual head kick, we're going to bring the head down and make our knee meet it. But if you're like me and you've got a really good upward stretch, you don't need to bring their head down much if you can actually get all the way to their chin. So, if I have uke like this, around the neck, I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And each one bounces the next one up. Let's do some hip rotations. Ich, knee, san, shi, go. Reverse. Ich, knee, san, shi, go. And down on the mat, we're going to do some crunches. If you have a mat, or put something underneath you. So these are small crunches. Heels by your butt, fists by your cheekbones. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it can be a good idea to actually touch your cheeks with your knuckles every now and then, just to make sure you're located correctly. And we're not holding our head. A lot of people do that and basically use their arms to lift their head. We want you to lift your head independently to develop your neck muscles. Ready? Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. So you might notice I drop the pitch when I'm doing the last count, so you know that I'm about to stop. Okay, so cross your ankles, and we're basically doing the same thing, but this time our like when we were doing that ippon earlier, the elbow goes to the opposite knee. So each one alternates between right elbow goes to left knee, left elbow goes to right knee. And also you can do a little bit of a bring your knees towards your elbows as well, kind of like a jackknife. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, and ju. Stretch it out. Okay, come into Seiza. So again, I don't know if Seiza is comfortable for you, if your knees can take it, but as you saw in the video, this is a version of Seiza. What we're going to do is we're going to go backwards and forwards. So that going forwards, again, if you're up here, that's okay. If that's all you got, that's all you got. Going back would be kind of difficult for you, but that's okay. Some people can do it, some people can't. And we work our way up to better versions of it. So sitting in Seiza, we're going to put both hands on the mat in front of us, making a V shape, kind of like a snowplow. We're going to push forward with that V. We're going to try our best to do two things. One is not put weight on our hands as much as possible. So try and have them so they just are skimming the surface. At the same time, trying to keep our butt on our heels. These are two things that are opposite, because often to keep your butt on your heels, you need to push back on your hands, put weight on them. So it's okay if you do that, but we're trying to do as little of that as possible until eventually you can do it like what I'm going to do it without touching the mat at all. Right, my butt is staying there, and just about here I have to put down because now I'm going to drop my chest. I'm going to stretch as far forward as possible. Again, if you can't go deep, don't go. And back up. And now we're going to just keep our toes where they are, but widen our heels so that our hips can go between our heels. And then we're going to go back. And again, different people can go different distances back. It's perfectly fine if this is as far back as you can go, or if this is as far back as you can go because your butt won't even touch your heels. Do what you can. Okay, and sit up straight again, and twist to the right, left, and now what we're going to do is we're going to interlock our fingers. Normally we don't do this, but for this exercise it's good. And put them behind our head and closing our elbows. Now the idea here is that we want to try and put our elbows on the ground in front while still keeping our butt on our heels. And again, if all you can do is go very far forward, that's fine, but eventually we want to have them in deep, and the deeper you get, eventually you're not going to touch the ground at all, but your head can. So when I do it, I actually come forward until I'm touching my head off the ground. Again, do what you can and do it safely. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ruk. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. And now splay your elbows, and similarly we're going to now touch our elbow off the mat on the side next to our hip if we can. If you can't, come forward more and see how far you need to go wherever to get your elbow down. Eventually you'll work your way over to be by your hip. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. rook, sich, hatch, coup, and Jew. Sit up straight, twist right, left, bring your feet in front, touch your toes, or go deeper, ankles, heels. Sit up straight, twist right, left, and come back up into our shikadach. Drop your butt, drop your elbows onto your knees. Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Walk your feet in a little bit and drop down. Now, if you can get into a squat, great. If you can't, do as low as you can while still keeping your heels on the ground. So if your heels need to be wider, and this is what you can do, this is what you can do. Eventually you might be able to come all the way down. So when you start practicing, I like to fold up as much as possible, right? The smaller you can make yourself, especially a big person like me, I'm 6 feet, it's very advantageous to be able to get as small as possible. Now again, if you can, bring your right knee to the floor. You might have to put your hands on the mat. And up, left knee, and up. And again, you might need to put your hands on the floor for this, to stabilize yourself. Toe raises. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, coup, and Jew. Bring hands on the mat, bring your knees down, sit into Seiza, and just breathe for a second. And that's it, that's going to be it for today. Rock so. So yummy. Informal bow, arigatou gozaimashita. And thanks again for coming, and I hope to see you next time.